Cajun capital of the world.
I'm the average Lafayette, Louisiana kid.
See, I'm back on my...
Hey, fellas. Hey, Brady Review said, congratulations. Say what's up, y'all. Yeah!
People that have courage don't have no extra gene and no difference in you. The difference is, are you going to sit down when it's time to stand up?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to a post-game edition of Rage and Review. Your boy Nick, along with Jerry and Lane. Boys, what's going on? How are y'all tonight?
Stressed out now.
I feel like I got 3 years taken off of my life in those final innings or those final outs of the ninth.
Only 3? I was thinking 5 years.
I mean, I feel like it was completely unnecessary what happened, but it is what it is. It happened. We're done. We're moving on. Boys, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I will turn off the air conditioner so we don't have background noise. But I will also run some, much appreciated advertisements in the meantime to thank all of our sponsors who make Rage and Review possible. When we come back, we'll get into the game today. So I guess I'm just telling you, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'd like to thank the following partners who make Rage and Review possible. Our title sponsor, the Best Stop Family Market, with locations in Katy and Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow, and of course the official location opened in 1986 in Scott. Visit the Best Stop and ask about the Rage and Review tailgate platters. Gulf Coast Bank, title sponsor of the Tailgate Show every Saturday, 3 hours before kickoff. Planet Radio 106.7, Lafayette Roofing, The Yard Goat, Yes Please Branding and Marketing, Old Time Grocery, Stride Safety Solutions, Eat Lafayette brought to you by Lafayette Travel, Rage and Hydration, and Dr. Brett Venable at Recovery Chiromed. And we'd also like to thank our Patreon sponsors listed here. For only $2 a month, you too could have early access to uncut interviews before they air here on our shows. You also get an exclusive Patreon icon next to your name on Cajun Threads, the official message form for Rage and Review. If you are interested in joining as a Patreon, visit us at patreon.com/rageandreview. Thanks to all of our corporate and Patreon sponsors for making this show possible. Yes, indeed. Thanks to our fine sponsors, including, of course, our title sponsors, the Best Stop Cajun Market, locations in Katy, Baytown, Texas, Toledo Bend, Karen Crow Broussard, and, of course, the Mothership celebrating 40 years in Scott. Boys, today was not easy. Louisiana survived a roller coaster Wednesday is what we can call it. They outlasted Coastal Carolina at 12-11. Felt like just when we were getting ahead, getting things going, Coastal clawed back, and I can't lie if I weren't saying I felt like Coastal would fight a little bit, give us a little bit of fight in this game, and that they did. Cajuns jumped on Coastal early and really swung the bat really well. Manufactured a run in the first inning thanks to 3 hit batters, and Drew Markle sack fly got Louisiana on the board 1-0 in the first inning. Kind of worried about the fact that we had bases loaded and 1 out and only scored 1. I worried about whether or not that would come back to bite us later in the ball game. Really broke the game open in the third inning thanks to Maddox Mandino starting the rally with a single. Colt Brown had an RBI single in that inning as well. Markle added another RBI knock. Spalita delivered the huge blow, which was the 3-run homer. How about Spalita, boys? Spalita had a day. 6-0 Cajuns. Feeling good about yourself. You felt like you might be breaking Coastal Carolina. And then, Cajuns end up going up 7-0. Herman Cruz threw 4 innings. Thought things were going pretty well. In the 5th inning, Pato launched a solo homer. And then Walker Mitchell, 3-run shot after a pair of hit batters. And now all of a sudden it's 7-4. Starting to get that little feeling in your tummy. And then the 6th inning, it was just chaos. Sawyer Pruitt came out of the bullpen, did not have his best day, and I think that's stating that lightly. Coastal loaded traffic immediately. Pato struck again with yet another home run, this time for 3 runs, to dead center. And now it's 7-6. And every time Coastal threatened, Louisiana seemed to come back. Huge 3-run 7th inning. And really it was a lot of pressure on Coastal. Cole Brown doubled. Markle singled. Spalita reached on an error that plated a run. Owen Galt, how about that? Dropped down a nice bunt single for another RBI. Mark Collins with a bunt single to push the lead back up 10-7. So you're feeling kind of good. Okay, we're coming back. Louisiana added 2 more insurance runs in the 8th from singles from Brown and Donovan LaSalle. So 12-7. Guys, 12-7. All right. In the 8th, feeling good. We get out the bottom of the 8th, unscathed. Top of the 9th, go to the bottom of the 9th. Still up 12-7. Feeling good. Drama still was not over. And we're going to talk about this. So Pappenbrock came in relief after Parker Smith, right? Was that how it worked, Jerry? Parker Smith came in. Or was
Sawyer
it
Pruitt came in
so,
after
it was Pap
Herm,
and then Parker
and then
Smith.
they put Pap.
Yeah. Sorry. So Parker Smith came in. I'm sorry, Pappenbrock came in, did a really good job. But he started getting knocked around in the 9th. 4 straight hitters reached. There was a run driven in with a single. 2-run triple into deep center. And all of a sudden, we got the tying run at third base with only 1 out. And we're going, what happened? We were just up like 12-6, 12. Like this shouldn't be a thing right now. And I felt like Pappenbrock was probably left in 3 or 4 hitters too long. I'll ask you guys about that in a second. Parker Smith came in, got a strikeout, looked so solid in that appearance. And then Hayden Pearson comes in. And look, that's another thing I want to ask you guys. I mean, you bring in Parker Smith, he faces a batter. So then you bring in a lefty, and then Coastal counters with a lefty, pinch hitting at that point. So I don't, okay. First of all, I am thrilled to beat Coastal Carolina 3 out of 4 times this season. Let's get that out the way. That was huge. I think that solidified our place in the NCAA tournament. I think that is my opinion. I think we're in. However, some of the decision-making in this game, like leaving Pap in 4 batters too long, like seeing what Herm is doing and knowing he's reaching the end of his rope and you got to bring somebody in and then we leave him in. My head hurts, Jerry. The decision-making hurts my head, even though we won the game. And again, I don't want to take anything away from the win. The win is huge. It should not have been 12-11. We should have closed it out on the bottom of the 9th. When our boy was getting in some trouble, when Pap was in trouble, we saw it. We all saw it. We refused to take him out of the ball game. And it's like, here we go again, man. Here we go again. So, Jerry, I'll turn it over to you. I got to get some things set up over here. By the way, Cox Communication sucks. I don't know if anybody here watches Hold DeMayo, and he's got Cox sucks all over his studio. That's how I feel right now, because right as I'm going on, Cox Communications decided it's going to stop running internet. So that's fantastic. So I'm running off of a hotspot. Hope that works for a little while. I'll still try to take calls in a bit. But, Jerry, take over. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think about what happened today, the decision-making, the end result, just the game in general.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, winning yesterday was big because it was do or die, obviously, right? I said that on the show yesterday that, you know, from the decision to start Cody Brash to going in there with an approach of this is it, right? This is one or done. And the team responded with an 11-1 win in 7 innings, a run rule. And so I knew going into this game, carrying that momentum from yesterday, that I think we had a lot, the juices were flowing pretty well, you know, and this is coming off of last weekend at the Teague against Coastal, and even the week before against App State, right? We've been playing some really good baseball in the last 2.5 weeks. And so I thought if we carried that momentum into today, that we would have a legitimate shot. And even if we would have dropped the game today, I still would have felt good enough going against App and taking care of business to do just enough to put us into a situation where the selection committee would have a hard time not picking us to make a regional. Look, today was a total roller coaster ride. I think Lane today sums up what it's like to be a Cajuns fan. I mean, we had all the different emotions. We had a rain delay. When we were up by 7 runs, we found a way to blow the lead and then respond, and then blow the lead and take another lead, and then blow the lead again, and have to come out to the last inning and find a way to get the final outs against a team that can hit the ball very well. I mean, they showed it today. There was a lot of power. There was a lot of power swings by Coastal Carolina, and rightfully so. They're a good baseball team. And there's a reason why this same team was playing for a national title last year. So I want to give a shout out to the guys for not quitting and not giving in. I think Cajuns teams of the past, when they blow a lead like that, some teams would have lost that game. You know, when you have 4 freshmen or 5 freshmen playing and you find ways to respond against a team like Coastal the way we did, that speaks volumes. I thought the way that our guys, their approach at the plate was very, very impressive. I want to give a shout out just to look at some of these stats right here. If you want to talk about our bats, I mean, we had 17 hits on the day. I mean, Maddox Mandino. How about Maddox Mandino coming out in the clutch, moving over to center field to replace Noah Lewis after Noah Lewis took that hit by pitch in his wrist. By the way, we're going to find out hopefully by the end of the day of how Noah's doing. Hope and pray that he's doing well. But Maddox came in and stepped up and went 4 for 5 at the plate. And he had, you know, just base hit after base hit, scored a few runs. Give a shout out to Colt Brown, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. And this is after he got hurt yesterday. And he wasn't 100% today. He was limping a little bit, both behind the plate and trying to, you know, get going through the base running. Mark Collins went 2 for 5 today. Owen Galt went 2 for 5. Steven Spalita, Oppo Field, 3-run shot. That really, really set the tone. Donnie LaSalle had a hit today with an RBI. Drew Markle, 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. So the bats right now are really clicking at the right time. And I know Coastal took the approach playing the long game. They treated their bullpen today like it was a midweek game, which was a little surprising to me. I thought they would have probably
dumbass loser move. I'm sorry, but that was a dumbass loser move.
I thought they would have kept, like, the first few innings. You look at their starting pitcher, Luke Jones, and he hit 3 of our guys, 3 straight batters in the first inning, gave up a run. And then the second inning, he was flawless. And I'm thinking, okay, our approach is going to have to be very crisp. And they took him out. And then the next 2 pitchers each gave up 3 runs. And then it was a race from there. But look, shout out to the guys for finding ways to handle the adversity. When you have a team like Coastal that's able to play catch up with you like that after a 7-run lead, most teams fold after that against a team like Coastal, and our team fought back. So want to give a shout out to the guys for doing that. Now we're in the winner's bracket after a play-in game. I really think this solidified our chance at a regional. Like, I do think we're in a regional now, but I'm greedy. I want to win some more. Now, to your point about the 9th inning, okay, real quickly, it's not about the decision to keep Pappenbrock in. I'm going to be more selfish here from a personal standpoint. It's the fact that the Cajun disaster syndrome was at an all-time high. Like, I want to ask the coaches, who's going to pay for the blood pressure medicine that I'm going to have to go get tonight from doing what you did, keeping Pap in that long? I was watching the game feeling like I was about to have a heart attack, man.
But at the same time, you're saying I'm not worried about what they did, but then you're saying you're worried about what they did. Because again, the reason we had to take blood pressure medicine is because they made a terrible decision by not putting somebody in the ball game at that point.
I'm not saying that I'm not worried. What I'm saying is, though, is I'm looking at it from a selfish point of view, because most people are like, you shouldn't have kept Pap in it. I'm looking at it as, you almost gave me a heart attack. So I just want to, like,
why did they almost give you a heart attack, Jerry?
Because of the decisions. And I know where you're going with this.
In too long.
Now, I will say, maybe they were trying to play the long game and they took a risk and it almost backfired. But I will say, when you're playing a team like Coastal, you can't finagle with that. You can't play that Russian roulette type mentality, thinking that after any of your pitchers give up the hits they gave up to Coastal, that they would just fold. You knew Coastal was going to come in with one last punch in the end. And one thing I will say is, even though they kept Pap in too long, and look, Pap pitched a hell of a game up until the ninth. He really did. He did a good job. And he got the win. So props to Pap. But I got to give a shout out to Parker Smith and Hayden Pearson, too, coming in the clutch in those final 2 outs. We could talk about whether or not they should have taken out Parker Smith, but I'm going to give a shout out to my man Hayden Pearson, a true freshman coming in the clutch like that against a team like Coastal and shutting them down and getting that final out was huge. And so, look, guys, again, this is the tall tale of being a Cajuns fan. You got the wet, we got wet. We got drama. We got just we got all kinds of emotions, but we are in the winner's bracket. I think we solidified a spot in a regional, and now we get another shot at your favorite team, Nick, tomorrow, the Texas State Bobcats, and we owe them. We owe them. So good win today, just what the doctor ordered. Not quite as comfortable as I would have liked, but hey, I'm not going to complain about a win. Now let's go take care of business against Texas State tomorrow and take the day off, so we can come back on Saturday in the semis and have a shot at winning this whole tournament.
I as far as Texas State, I don't even.
We get another chance. We get another chance,
right? And we're not going to play in their Cracker Jack ballpark either.
Nope.
No. You see, they didn't score 45 runs against Marshall the other night, or whoever they played. Who did they play? ODU? No,
they played. They played App State today. And they won 6-5.
That's what it was. Yeah, 6-5.
Yeah.
Wasn't 200-4 like they do in their stupid little ballpark. Sorry, my mother decided that she's gonna do stuff right now because everything's going really well for me right now.
She wants to get in before the rain hits.
That is true.
Dude. Looking at RPI, just FYI, with the loss, Coastal drops only a couple spots to 27, but I think unless they make an amazing tourney run and play just the right teams, I mean, beating App State probably it would advance them a couple of spots, maybe. I mean, look at what Marshall did for us, and I don't know how that happened, but we somehow need some. They're at 27, like the conversation completely for hosting at this point, not necessarily just because of the RPI thing, but how they're finishing the season now. If they go on a run, get to the championship game, and win it, I think maybe we have a different conversation depending on what happens in the top 10. But I really don't care about Coastal. I care about Louisiana. If Big Kev's watching, we're at 36. And if 36 don't tell you we're getting in right now, 36 is the number for me. I'm just saying. 36, RPI 36, let's do it, baby.
That's fate. Now, be on the lookout tonight. Now, you've got the 2 games. I don't feel bad for him, but it is kind of funny. I mean, I was telling Lane before the show, Nick, that I want to say Troy and South Alabama probably won't start till like 10:30 tonight. But with that's said,
fantastic.
Both games, though, and I think Southern Miss is playing Georgia State right now. Both games will affect our RPI one way or the other. So, I'm not saying that negatively. I'm saying if, like, for example, we took 2 out of 3 from Southern Miss. If Southern Miss beats Georgia State, maybe that might boost us up another spot or 2. Same thing with Troy and South Alabama. I know we didn't win the series against Troy. We still have a win against them, and we took the series against South Alabama. So with those 3 teams playing tonight, regardless of who wins or loses, I do expect RPI to move a slight bit, not nothing drastic, but enough to where it might be 1 or 2 spots that can make a big difference, especially if we're going up against P4 schools right now trying to get an at-large.
866-454-RAGE. I want to hear from you guys. First of all, I want to see if this works because I'm on 8 different hotspots. So if somebody could call 866-454-RAGE, hit option 1 to talk to us, we'd love to hear from you. I agree, Colby. Damn Cox Internet. They suck. I will never be with Cox anywhere I am, wherever I'm moving next, which I cannot disclose because of TSAD fans threatening my life. Wherever that is, I will not be signing up with Cox. I will take my little. Do you have who has my satellite? Who has my Starlink? Is that in storage?
It is in storage, yes.
We need to get that out of storage. All right, Lane, I'm here
till
till Saturday. We need to get that out of storage, put it at Thelma's, because I can't take this crap. We're not doing this again. I had a meltdown. Like, the people here don't understand the meltdown I had when I came on here, and I'm like, shit's not working. Y'all do what you want. I'm out. And then I restarted, and y'all were still here, so thank you for doing that for me. But anyway, as I was saying, it's not about me. We're at 36 right now. Yeah, I'm feeling good about our potential for getting into a regional without winning any other games, but I don't want to not win any other games. Biggest test thus far, obviously, was Coastal, because I did anybody, they did not lull me to sleep last weekend, because I was like, yeah, that Coastal's going to make a run. They're going to wake up at some point and they're going to play mad. I felt like they did that today. Now, who was that a-hole pitcher, whatever his name is, from last week that showed his ass?
Horn.
Horn.
Yeah,
How did
Horn.
that go? How did his appearance go today?
Yeah. Thankful for the rain, because he got rescued from having an absolutely shittier performance today against our bats. So screw you, dude. So yeah, I mean, I will say that was some sweet revenge, boys. With that, because of the way he acted on the mound. Kind of like the TSAD pitcher last night that acted the ass on the mound. They got fucking over there who thinks he's doing something, and they're, barely 500. Anyway, I don't want to talk about them either. Texas State tomorrow will be a challenge, of course. They're going to be playing for their lives, because I don't think in the dirt right now. I think they're either first 4 out or next 4 out. I don't think they have as a resume as we do. They did sweep us. Definitely a feather in the cap, and their RPA is up there. Schedule probably, but for their lives, they want to beat us. I'm going to kick their ass, boys. This was personal for me. I don't see their ass packing. We should have done a couple weeks ago. And they don't. Hey, words of every 60 members ever played baseball or Washington love how he does baseball. But I want to kick Texas State's ass for that. Oh, here we go. Now you can't hear me. All right. We're still struggling to hear me.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
I was just going, get the Starlink, Jerry. Jerry, talk.
Yeah, no, I mean, to your point, I heard you loud and clear. Look, we owe Texas State. We owe Texas State. If you look at the Friday game, right, against Texas State, they hit that grand slam in the 8th, and it's just one of those things we have to take care of business tomorrow if we want to get to where we want to go. I know people were saying, including myself, that it was a really good barometer this week in the conference tournament to win a few games and try to get in that large bid, but the hell with it. Now I want to win the whole damn thing. Let's go win the tournament. I'm okay with it. And now that you're beaten, you took care of business against Marshall. You beat Coastal today for the 3rd time in a week against them. The national runner-up, a team that's trying to, well, I don't know if they're in it anymore, but trying to host a regional. So you've got momentum right now. This team has momentum right now. And so now you get a chance to go in the winner's bracket and play a team that swept you, and you get to play them in a neutral ballpark. A ballpark, like you said, that's not a crackerjack park like it is in San Marcos, where if you just hit a pop-up, it turns into a home run. It's not going to be that. So that, again, plays into our advantage. I mean, if you look at the number of runs we scored the last 2 days, we scored, 23 runs? The bats are hot right now. So this is not your March 2026 Raging Cajuns. This is the Raging Cajuns that have kind of gotten out of that midseason funk. And I think the Bobcats are going to be playing a team tomorrow that's going to be very different from the Louisiana team that showed up to San Marcos 2 months ago. And I think our guys are going to be licking their chops after a big win today. I know there's probably some emotion with today's win, but also props us to be able to get another shot at a team that swept us. And what better way to send them to the pack, whatever, pack 8 or pack 10 or whatever it is now, than to beat them when they need to win this game the most. Like, they need this. They're on the bubble right now. What better way to ruin their chances in tomorrow?
Game is
You know what,
scheduled
just-
for 4 p.m., right, Lane? 4 p.m.
For
tomorrow?
now.
Yeah, it's
For
scheduled for
now,
4.
if it doesn't get
For
pushed
now-ish.
back, yeah. But that's the tentative time, correct?
So I think the best scenario for us is for us to beat Texas State and for Coastal to beat Texas State on Friday. That way there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and Texas State's out of the tournament.
And we get the day off. If you win tomorrow, you get Friday off. You get
Now,
to
what
rest until
time would we
Saturday.
play on Saturday if we do make it there?
It
I
will
don't
be-
care. I don't care.
I can
all
look-
I
I can
care
look that
about
up.
is tomorrow, Lane. Tomorrow. That's all I'm focused on, is winning tomorrow.
I will look that up for you.
Aren't
just to
aren't
be
you
safe.
glad they don't have Valentin anymore?
No, I'm actually not. I wish they did. That would make it even better, man. To kick his ass again.
Where did he end up going?
South Carolina.
Oh,
Oh, how did that
Carolina
end?
now for
Yeah, how
him.
did that go? How did that go
Yeah.
for him? Worst
And
team
I-
in the SEC or one
I
of them?
talk shit about Luke Uhas, but I love Donkey. I can't. His dad's still liking our stuff, and I can't say a bad thing about the kid. But
So we'll play it. If we win tomorrow, we'll play at 9 a.m. on Saturday.
okay,
And then if
but
we
I don't
were-
care.
Right. I mean, now just again, a heads up for tomorrow night. Nick, I don't know. There may be some more rain in the forecast down there. So the 4:00 start tomorrow. That's the tentative time. For all we know, with these rain delays, and if they go until 2:00 in the morning tonight, we may not play until 6:00 tomorrow. So just be on the lookout for that, and we'll keep you guys updated as well on the other games, because I think there's 2 games before us that play. Correct?
Well,
Yeah,
the funniest
technically,
thi-
just like today.
yeah.
Okay.
But
good.
the funniest thing to me today was watching a Texas State fan rage about the tournament having a rain delay because I can't believe that we're playing in a state that has all this rain and now we have a rain delay. Where the hell does he want to have it? Vegas? Like we're in the South, homie. Like there's literally nowhere you can host a tournament right now from guess what? San Marcos, Texas, all the way up to wherever Virginia. You're gonna have rain this time of year, bro. The good thing, well, it is natural turf, so that does hurt a little bit, but still, what do you want to do? What do you want to move it to? Antarctica, where
I
there's
know,
no
man.
snow? I mean, these people are stupid. Anyway,
And just to give you an idea of the start times tonight, so they're in the bottom of the first inning right now. Southern Miss and Georgia State. So it's what, 6:45 or whatever right now. That game would probably end around 9:30 if it's supposed to be as scheduled. That means the last game probably won't start till at least 10:15, 10:30 tonight.
oh, I'd love to
That's
watch
with
the game
no-
on the TV I have, but I can't because I don't have freaking internet because of Cox.
Anyway,
And that's
Sorry,
without
Lane.
any more weather delays. So
that's correct. That's correct. Man, I know this game took like 3 years off of each of our lives, but isn't it nice to be on the winning side? Because let's be honest, middle March Cajuns or early April Cajuns lose that game. We lose that game a month or two ago. It was nice to actually hold on to the win.
Here's my question I want to ask you guys. Every year, except for last year was a disaster. I think everybody involved will admit
I think
that.
that's safe to say, yes.
But every other year, we seem to like suddenly learn how to win and learn how to swing the bat right at like conference tournament regional time. Or I was thinking, because I had a long drive to think about it between where I was and where I am back today. Like, are we changing something? Are we changing our approach? Are we letting guys go back to their original batting stances and approach to the plate? Like, I'm trying to understand why every year outside of last year, we seem to get so much better at the end of the season. And now we're like, okay, we can compete with anybody in the country. Gary, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just us getting hot at the right time every year, but there's something in this coaching approach that we turn it on at the end of the season.
Yeah, man, it's a good point. I think just right now, I'm using this year's team as an example. You've got a bunch of younger guys and a bunch of freshmen that have gotten play time, and then you also have guys who have come off the bench who have had recent playing experience or recent experience, such as Maddox Mandino and Owen Galt, right? The two top names that started last year and have come in and been able to fill some of the roles. I just think it's repetition, man. I just think it's repetition. Sometimes you got to throw them out to the wolves and let them battle. And I think now that you've been through the best of times, right? The best of times, the beginning of the season, you start 16-5 and you're ranked in the top 25, and then you go through the middle season slump, which was the worst of times, right? You get swept by Texas State, you lose the series to Monroe, you lose the series to JMU, two teams who didn't even make the conference tournament. And then you found a way to get out of it, and then you turn it around again. And I think the season turnaround was against Southern Miss. You play the Friday game, you lose 8-1, you get spanked, probably one of the most embarrassing games I've seen at the Teague in a long time. And then you flip it back on them and you win the last two games. That's a huge learning experience for a bunch of young guys like Colt Brown and Noah Lewis and Sawyer Pruitt and Josh Lim and, those guys, Hayden Pearson. Like, they've been through this season, they've been through it all, and so I think once you've had that experience for the last 4 or 5 months where you've experienced the highest of highs and the lows of lows, at this point, you're prepared for anything. And it shows, man. Look at the way they're playing. Look how finesse they look. Colt Brown looks like a junior. I mean, look, I was talking to a listener of the pod, our good dear friend Grant Cox, former pitcher under Coach Robe. And we were talking about Lucroy. The man's got his jersey retired. He's one of the best catchers in the game, in the last decade or last 15 years. If you recall, Nick, I don't even know if Luke started as a catcher his freshman year. He was a designated hitter. He didn't even play catcher. And then you see what Colt Brown's doing, both as a catcher and a hitter. And I'm not trying to say Colt Brown is better than Luke or anything like that, but I see a lot of similarities to the type of competitiveness that he has. That's very rare in a freshman. It's very hard to see that in a freshman when you look like a veteran guy. So my answer to you is, I think it's just a little bit of experience and the fact that they've experienced a lot through the best of times and the worst of times, and they're just getting reps. And then also too, a lot of these guys played together in high school. One of the things that, we're talking about Josh Lim and a few others, now the travel ball is popular and you've got a lot of experience in American Legion in high school. They're very familiar with these players, even at that level. So by the time they get to this level, it's a little bit easier for them to adjust. And so, yeah, I just think right now, and you saw the same thing in 2023. You saw when we were at our high and at our low, when you get to this point in the year, we just know how to face the adversity. And that's what's making this ride enjoyable. That's why today's win was so much fun to watch. And that's why I'm excited to see what this team does. Not only, if we make a regional, I want to see this team finish in the tournament this week. I'm enjoying this ride in Montgomery right now.
Lane, do you have something more concise you want to say?
I landed the plane. A little late on the delay,
Eventually,
but I landed the plane.
Yeah.
I'm glad we won, but I will bring up this comment real quick if I can get to it about the cameras. Where to go?
Oh,
terrible.
I was going to get to that.
F minus. F minus. Terrible.
From the camera crew to the announcers not knowing what the hell was going on.
Because they're not at the ballpark, dude.
I know,
they're
it
in
was
the
just
studio.
It was just weird experience all around. I mean, I was almost having a seizure watching the camera work. I'm like, what in the world is going on?
I'm so disappointed in, well, I can give you my thoughts on Keith Gill. I think I've done that enough. But I get you spent all this money on a studio in New Orleans. Congratulations. But do you know how stupid we looked? And we're talking about Louisiana playing Coastal today. How and somebody else commented, I think a Southern Miss fan commented earlier, first pitch of tonight's game, or first play of tonight's game, it was I don't know what happened, but the camera didn't keep up with it, so the announcers didn't know what happened. So they're making things up, assuming what happened, and then it turned out none of that happened. Something else, and they had to do a replay. So I don't know, man. I'm so confused by why? How much money are you saving by keeping these guys in studio? It's a terrible experience for the fans. And I feel bad. I really do. I know people aren't a fan of Ronnie Rans. I like Matt Smith. He calls a great game, but the guy doesn't know what's happening because he can't freaking see.
That's and there's no doubt, Nick, right? I mean, I've done sports radio, you've done sports radio. There's something about actually being in the moment and being present in the moment that goes a long way and affects your actual broadcast. I mean, there was a point where I think it was the Coastal pitching coach going up to the mound to talk to one of the pitchers, and he called him Sandy. I'm thinking, like, this is 101 stuff, dude. Like, if you got to know the pitching coach's name.
It's because you're not there, and it's not the same. I mean,
exactly.
You and I can watch a game and call it, and it would be terrible, first of all, but we could do it. But the point is, like, they're doing it, and they're relying on terrible camera work.
Yeah.
That's awful. Like, not
Hi,
only,
Destiny.
You know, oh, yeah. Destiny, like, you know what pisses me off about you, Destiny? You and Jerry with this shit. Like, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, hi, Destiny. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Good luck tonight. Don't care what y'all do until the last game.
Hey, you know what, though? Got to give a shout out to her cousin Blaze, man.
Oh, yeah. Let's
Cousin
talk about
Blaze.
that. Was she wearing red today?
Well, she wore red earlier, and then she's wearing her gold now, so it's fair.
I'm sure
that's
she's
fair.
Not. By the way, did you not see on Twitter? I asked the mayor of Hattiesburg if I could get a key to the city, and he said, "Let me know when you're in town."
Oh my gosh, you don't want to start any riots, Nick. Okay.
That'd be pretty sweet. Grant's asking if the game is still at 4. Yes, the game is scheduled for 4.
For now.
What time it actually starts? Hopefully, I mean, but that's the beauty of being at 4. Like, if it starts at 7, not terrible. It's the later game that's going to get moved way back. So 4 o'clock is a good time for me. I'm cool with that.
No, but Lane, you bring up a good point about that with the cameras and the production. You know, one thing that we've always said, and this is why we have a good relationship with Joel and our production team, is I hope our fans understand how good we really have it with our production team. I mean, if you really take a step back and think about it, this is the Sun Belt Conference tournament, okay? Like, this isn't just UL, a Tuesday night game at the Teague against Northwestern State. This is, you know, the whole, like, there's a lot of baseball fans around the country that watch this. And I'm going to just tell y'all, man, like, I was very disappointed, not just because of the camera, but like today, you know, in the 8th inning, who cares what Cody Brash is doing in the dugout? Well, he's not starting today. What do you think he's doing? Am I supposed to care? Like, does it really matter? It's just, I don't know.
But that's just it, Jerry. Like, when you're not in the stadium, you're looking for stuff to talk about because they're showing it on TV. When you're in the stadium, it's a completely different experience. And I'd say, you know, I wish Keith Gill would tell us what's going on, but it's Keith Gill. He's never going to talk to us.
Well, and the thing is, like, we just got the 4th umpire, was it last year or this year, right? We're putting more money to get the 4th umpire because we want to be big time. Apparently, it's big time to have the tournament in Montgomery. It's big time. Well, having your play-by-play people in the actual press box is also considered big time. I don't think the SEC play-by-play people are in a studio in Atlanta or Birmingham for their games in Hoover. I don't think the Big 12 or the ACC tournaments, they have their play-by-play guys in some studio remotely, you know, 3 hours away. I mean, I think if you can afford money for a 4th umpire and you're trying to push for big time and you want to be elite conference, the least you could do is put your production team in the press box and being present in the moment at the actual venue that they're playing these games at. Just saying, just a suggestion.
No, they're sitting in New Orleans in a studio watching the game with the same feed we see. I don't know.
With the shaky camera. So you can't even do a play-by-play if the camera's shaking. And then like when Horn comes in, right? And I wanted to see from a pitcher's camera when Horn was in to see how we would swing the bats. And I couldn't tell half the time if we even made contact. We scored 2 or 3 runs. I couldn't tell if we scored, let alone hit the ball. So look,
the camera feed coming straight from the out or behind home plate or whatever was weird. Like
it
didn't show anything.
But why? Why was it coming from? That's what I don't understand. Like you get home view, and then all of a sudden now you're high home from behind for no reason, and then
it's
they miss a play.
And it's random. It wasn't even like, sometimes they'll do it specifically for a certain situation.
Right.
It was
or kind of
random.
like setting the scene and then cutting back to the
Panning.
the
Right.
center field camera. No, it was just like, here we are.
No, I think what happened was like when the outfield camera was shaking so hard, they automatically cut to behind the plate. And then you couldn't, again, it was so, the ball was, the view was so small, I couldn't tell where the pitch was. I couldn't tell. Yeah, they need to fix that. They need to fix that before Sunday, because that was probably one of the worst productions I've seen in a long time from the conference.
That's what I would call pas bon.
Definitely pas bon.
I'll call it that. It was pas bon.
Grand pas bon.
If Cox called tonight and wanted to be sponsor of the show, I would go to Scott Prather at Lafayette Fiber and ask him if he wanted to sponsor us for less money. In fact, Scott wouldn't even have to give me money. I'd do it for free. But I mean, not really. But I'm just saying, that's how much I hate Cox. They're terrible. Do you guys think we beat Texas State? I think it's revenge time. That's my opinion. I think it's time for us to get some revenge.
Yeah, it would be hard for them to beat us a fourth straight time.
Well, I mean,
And
it
it's
was hard to
baseball,
beat Coastal. I mean, think about the fact that how hard was it for us to beat Coastal 3 out of 4 and we got it done.
True. But I also
But-
feel like with Coastal, we caught them on the bad end of their performance.
I also feel like we are so much better of a team than we were when we played Texas State. So I think we get the dub tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. Shout out Brian Butcher, by the way. Before you go, Jerry, Brian Butcher,
I like
he's
Brian.
a member of the stream team and OG from back in the day, Channel 1 video.
I
Shout
remember
out to those
Brian.
guys.
I know
And
Brian.
Brian, I sat by him in the booth the other night when Joel told me to go hang out with those guys, and he's still doing a kick-ass job. So he's one of the people who makes our stream look fantastic. Brian,
No doubt. He's been around. He's been around a while. Yeah.
I'm sure he was getting heartburn watching that stream as well. So no, I get it. But Jerry, go ahead and give your take.
No, look, man, I think it's time. After what happened in San Marcos, again, they're not playing in their Cracker Jack ballpark. We have momentum right now. This is a team that is well improved. I'm talking about our team is well improved in the last 2 months, and we're on a mission. So no, I think we win tomorrow. Also, too, like Ty Roman has been pitching lights out the last couple of appearances. I think he continues that. And I don't think Texas State is Coastal Carolina. I don't think they're as good. I think that, even today you saw, don't get me wrong, they beat App State, but I just, dude, I feel good, man. I feel good about this. The way we're playing right now, I think we get the win. I do. I really think we get the win.
I'm calling Josh because he said he tried calling. Dude, I'm working. I got so much stuff going on here, bro. We're going to see if he answers. Joshua.
Hello.
Dude, I'm working. So first of all, Cox communication sucks. Okay?
Oh, trust me. I've been listening to the show. I know how bad Cox.
Yeah, thank you. But tell me, give me your take about the game. I know you're going to give a hot take. I want to hear it.
Well, assuming we can go back to talking to about the baseball game that happened today. Actually, no. Let me not get out ahead of myself. I want to first say, shout out to Kevin, my friend, who is mad at me right now, but I do not share the sentiment. I love you, Kevin. Please don't be angry at your boy. Now that we got that out the way. There's so many things that you can talk about that happened today. So many small things, big things, things we can agree on, things we can debate about. The very first thing that happened was, well, let me start with something positive. You gotta say, like, the lineup showed up in Montgomery. I mean, everybody's doing their job. Everybody's pitching in some way. We're doing all the little things that make us a good offense. We're not going to pound you off the wall. We're not going to hit the ball over the wall a lot, but we have been doing the things that make us productive as an offense.
And Josh, do you agree? Do you agree? Because I asked the guys this question earlier. Do you agree that it seems like outside of last year, we always seem to do this in the tournament and then into postseason? It's kind of hard to understand what the change is toward the end of the regular season. But outside of last year, we seem to do that every year.
Well, I've always said that I can't stand Deggs and how he manages baseball games, but you can't say anything about how his teams perform in the postseason. Very rarely do you see a Matt Deggs team fall flat on its face in the postseason. And I mean, it's not one thing. It's a lot of things. First of all, you get towards the end of the season, the lineup shrinks. They're done with finals. They're not worried about school. Guys have solidified positions. They have more time to work on individual things. And they know what's expected of them by now. One thing that this season I think was better than many of the others was that Matt Deggs let guys stay in positions, let guys own roles. He didn't tinker with the lineup nearly as much this year as he has in the past. And he let the young guys grow up and get comfortable in their roles. That's been a big key to the second half of the success of the second half. We haven't talked a whole lot about it, but I just think the young guys, after they had that bounce back in the middle of the season, they've owned their position. So it kind of eliminated him from being able to tinker with the damn lineup and move guys around. He wants to, and you saw him do it against. A couple of weeks ago, we moved the infield in. What series am I thinking of when we moved the infield in?
Was that App State?
Moved the infield around.
Yeah, that was App State. That was the
game.
second game. Yeah.
The Saturday game, yeah, that's the one. So he wants to do it. It's still in there, but the guys have done a good job of owning their spot. So I'd say that about the lineup. But I'm proud to say that we showed up in Montgomery and we continued to produce at the plate. There's a couple of guys on the team right now that are just smoking hot. Drew Markle has barreled up more balls than anybody on this team in the last 3 to 4 weeks. Even his outs are hard and productive. What can you say about Dino today? Dino comes off the bench and gets 4 hits, plays a good center field for you. There's a couple times where he made a couple of catches. And I'm not going to say that Noah Lewis couldn't get to the ball or not, but he had a ball that was hit to him when he first got into the game where he kind of got turned around, and he made that play look a lot easier than it actually was. Dino is solid in the outfield. You're going to get that out of him, so that's a good thing. And what a luxury to have him as a backup when you lose a guy like Noah Lewis. And, man, I really hope that it's nothing serious, but I don't think we'll see Noah back if it's the same injury that happened to Rigo, because that's what Jay and Bab were talking about. They said basically the ball hit him in exactly the same spot as it hit Rigo, and we all know what happened to Rigo. So I don't expect to see him back, but hopefully we can dodge a bullet. At any rate, he was smashing the ball. Steven Spolita, kind of a pedestrian year, started being a little bit more consistent in the second half. He's been red hot since the first game of the Coastal Carolina game. He's another one. Even the balls that he's been hitting that aren't hits, they're productive outs or they're hard hits to somebody. So that's really great to see. And the Apo Taco today really, really kind of jump-started the team, and you started to feel great. But that's where I want to pick up the comments I was going to make about the game. I know that Herm was in the game. It's 7-0. What is it? It's the 4th inning. I think we've got 1 out, and you can kind of see after the solo homer from Pato there, you could kind of see him losing it. And I think it was Dan who said, he was missing his spots and the velo was down. I'm not necessarily concerned about Herm when the velo starts to drop. It's when that sweeping breaker that he throws to the back leg on left-handed hitters. When that starts to get away from him, he just becomes less effective. I was okay with leaving him in right there, and I know a lot of y'all wanted to pull him, and I know Cole was mad, and I totally get why. Those are one of those things where we can debate, because I think that there's a solid opinion on both sides. I would have been fine leaving Herm there, because if I have to leave somebody in long term, it certainly ain't going to be Pappenbrock. Okay.
Oh, but we're going to leave him in to let us go down to a 1-run game, because that makes all the sense of the world.
But I do trust Herman a little. I mean, I trust him way more than I trust Pappenbrock. Okay. So in that situation with a 7-run lead, I was fine with leaving him in. And when he got out of the inning, it's 7-4. We kind of sheepishly go away at the top half of our inning. And then I would have been fine with bringing him back. And I know y'all were trying to get him out of the game, and I get that too, but I would have been fine saying, look, Herm, I'm going to leave you in the game until you give up a hit. or a walk or a hit basket. And at that point, you pull him. I was, I said I try to say things so that I don't come across as a Monday morning quarterback. I said before Pruitt threw his first pitch, I don't like this move. I've said it all year. I don't like him in the reliever role. I think he is a starting pitcher. I think he has the mentality of a starting pitcher. And here's the thing about Pruitt. Something's got to be wrong with him. And I mean physically, because he is not generating the torque in the lower half of his body that he did at the beginning of the season. Maybe some of it's a confidence deal. I'm just telling you his mechanics have changed. So when mechanics change, it's either one, they're being coached to do that, or number two, there's an injury or something that is causing them to compensate somewhere else in their body. So I am not down on Pruitt. I'm long Pruitt. I think he needs an offseason. I think he needs to get healthy because I really do think there's something wrong with him. I think he needs to get healthy. I think that he just needs to get his mojo back. There's just something. He does not have that bulldog aggressive mentality that we saw in the first month of the season. And like I said, it could be a couple different things. I truly believe there's something going on in the lower half of his body. I think that's what's going on. They leave him in too long. Really, he wasn't effective at all. It was pretty clear to see. And then you start, using the bullpen, which to me, I know it's great to win, and I'm glad we're in the winner's bracket, and that's all fine and dandy, and jump up and down, and yeah, way to go, we won. That game was so poorly managed that we won despite the leadership making decisions. I'm just telling you, once again, we mismanaged the pitching. We've done that way too often when they start to, the coaches start to clamp down and they panic and they freak out. We mismanaged that whole situation. But then again, the lineup comes out, they produce, they lengthen the lead again. They continue to do that. Coastal decided before the game started, this is per their radio guy, that they were going to bullpen this game. We got a little bit of help when the weather delay comes in and they pull Horn. That was probably the biggest development in the game, honestly.
I mean,
because
but was it
point,
good? We were kind of lighting him up at that point. I mean, I get what you're saying. Who knows what he would have done after that inning? But I don't know, man. Horn wasn't that impressive today.
I don't have a very short memory. I remember what he did to us last weekend, and I'm just telling you, maybe it was because we saw him before, but think about how many manufactured hits we had against him right there. So I don't know. I thought that him getting taken out of the game was big for us. I thought that our lineup, again, I can go into details, but I know I'm going long. The lineup came through for us again. It's not something that we've seen consistently this year. So to see it 2 days in a row and then today in a really big spot to kind of help the pitching right there, I just thought that was so massive. That's a massive development. But I'm going to fast forward back to the end of the game where you leave Pappenbrock in where he's clearly spent. After the first walk, he's gone. You have got to put your foot on Coastal Carolina when you have the chance, because what makes them so good is their moxie and the way that when they have their backs against the wall, the way that they respond. They have always been good in that situation for the last couple of years. And really since they've been in our league, they've been able to do that. But as soon as you walk the first guy, Sandy should have been out there. We're having a conversation and we need somebody hot in the bullpen in that moment right then and there. We're all losing our minds. We know what's coming. Of course, it unfolds exactly the way we all talked about it. And I just, what you did in that moment, okay, and this is kind of like the middle part of the game that, if you've played in a high leverage situation, you understand this. When you have a long tournament and when you had to play a play-in game, which lengthens the tournament even more, when you've sat through a rain delay, when you're going to be sitting around the hotel room, you took a game that you had in hand, which, by the way, nobody knew the damn score, 13-11, 13-12, who the hell knows, okay? But you take a game that you have in hand and you extract all of the emotional capital that you built up in that game, all that good feeling, hey, we're hitting the damn ball, we got momentum. You use all of that capital up by allowing your pitching staff to get itself in trouble. And then you got to go out and you needed freaking a freshman in Pearson to come in and strike somebody out, and then you pull him when the slider looked untouchable because you wanted to do analytics versus manalytics. Another completely insane decision. If you're going to make the move, make the move. Look, it worked. All right. And I know everybody can say, oh, well, it worked. We won. How dare you? How dare you second guess Deggs and Sandy? Well, it wasn't just me, buddy. You know, you can look around all of social media. You can look at, I bet every one of us are in a group chat right now that was saying, what the hell is Deggs doing?
Dude, my 91-year-old dad, who has been playing baseball for about 89 years, was like, what the hell is he doing? Why isn't he pulling him? Pull him now. Pull him now. He said that for 4 batters, you know, when we were ahead by 6 and then ahead by 1. He said that for every batter that went up. And I mean, who's the idiot?
We dealt with, when Tony was here, we dealt with that. He would leave pitchers in too long. And I became immune to it over the years. But over the years, you kind of understand the situation's fluid, right? The situation that Herm was in is not the situation that Pap was in. And so people are trying to conflate the two. It's like, dude, it's not the same thing. It's not even close. So anyway, but the point I'm trying to make is that the emotional capital that we built up just got extracted out of those guys. And yeah, we won the damn game, and great, wonderful. I'm glad it happened. But you've got to continue to look forward. One thing I've been so disappointed with in just talking to people is that everybody's talking about, oh, we got to win 2 games to get into the NCAAs. Oh, we got to win 3. Oh, we're already in. Who gives a damn? We're in a tournament right now. Let's coach to win this tournament. Let's coach to win this tournament. Why not try to win this tournament? Would you rather be a last 4 seed in and go to freaking UCLA or you know, whoever won the SEC or whatever? No, I don't want to be a damn 3 seed that's behind the 8 ball that has to go travel to a super high seed. Improve your seeding. You have a golden opportunity. You're set up beautifully. And you would have been set up even more beautifully had you handled Brash the proper way and had you left Herm in today. I just totally disagree with how we manage pitching, but that ain't nothing new with this staff. They always do this kind of stuff. And when I say they, I mean Deggs. But great to win. I just wonder what it looks like. I'm excited to go play Texas State. I don't think Texas State's beaten us 4 times in a season. I just don't. And we have an opportunity to really hurt their season and hopefully end it, really. But who do you really trust? You're going to go Roman tomorrow? I know a lot of people are saying Roman. Do you go Roman? I don't know. Because if you spin Roman, all right, you get a day off on Friday if you win, and then you play on Saturday. You can't start Patton Brock. You can't start Pruitt. You got no Brash. You got no Herm. And if you start Ty, you know, what are you going to do? Garrett Carter? You're going to bolt Johnny Allstaff to get to Sunday?
But why can't you start Pruitt? Because Pruitt didn't throw a whole lot of pitches today.
Dude, I think.
I'm just saying.
I'll say this:
you have no choice. You have to throw somebody. If
you're going to use Pruitt again, it has to be in a starting role.
That's what I'm saying.
So maybe that is the answer. Correct. But the real question is how much trust did you have in that situation at the moment?
Well, I have enough trust to say have somebody ready to go at the front end of the game if things aren't going well. Now you give him the first inning, and if it's obviously he doesn't have it, then that's a whole conversation to have somebody ready to go right after him. But I mean, it's the same thing with JR. At some point, he's got to pitch, and I know we are all holding our breath because we know what Talent can do. But at some point, he's got to be involved in this tournament. But we also have to have somebody ready to go if he doesn't have his stuff. We can't do what we did today with Pap. We can't do that the rest of this tournament. We're going to get crushed.
You went right where I was heading. And I know people don't want to hear JR. People don't want to see JR. I was going to say he's probably, if you look at his history and you look at everything, he's probably the guy that you would say, if I had to go with an arm that I don't have a ton of confidence in right now, it's probably him. I know that might sound absolutely crazy, but he's got the career starts under his belt. He has been effective. He hasn't been effective this year. I get it. I know they've tinkered with his delivery. I know they've tinkered with his arm slot. Sometimes you just got to trust the athlete. And if there's nobody else in that pen that I'm going, you know what? We're riding with such and such. I mean, you saw what happened when Garrett Carter started against UNO. He is not a starter. He is a true 3 to 6 out bullpen guy, which is a shame because the kid touches 96 and he has a decent breaking ball when he's getting it to drop. But he's just a 3 to 6 out guy right now. So that's not an option. Tapp has pitched his way out of it. Pruitt, maybe. But you still wonder, where's his confidence at right now? Didn't look good today. And I remain very convicted on something going on with him physically. And then everybody else is just bullpen guys. I mean, we're thin. We're thin, and that is why I've been jumping up and down, bitching and complaining about how they're using the starters. I know Marshall is a win or go home type game. I get it, all right? But you had a lead, and if you can't beat Marshall, you don't deserve to play in the regional. So at some point, you got to make a business decision. I would say the same thing about Herm. Herm, you got a 3-run lead. You're the leader, the undisputed leader of this pitching staff. Can you give me 3 more outs? Can you give me 6 more outs? Can you bridge me? Just get me to a 9-out situation. Can you get me there? I don't know. It's easy to second guess. I understand that, and I understand we won the game. But it's really, really difficult to be excited about how that game went, considering that we still have a long way to go in this tournament. And maybe where I differ from others is that I'm trying to win the tournament. I don't care about just winning 2 games.
Well, I think I'm disappointed. I'm pissed off at the way it ended. I wouldn't say how it went, because if we blew the lead early and then our bats came alive like it did and we ended up winning, by a score of 12-7, okay, then totally different conversation. It's the way we ended the ball game. We got cocky, man. Again, just when you think we're making all the right decisions in every phase, we pull this shit, and then now you're questioning, oh, now I remember why I was pissed off every weekend series this year. It's like, oh, I remember that. Remember that? Now we're doing that again.
Well, I think the hard part, and to Josh, to your point about kind of, because today, after today, we have if we want to win the tournament, we have no choice but to play the long game. I think the real question is, do we have enough depth to carry us into Sunday and clinch a championship based on the current situation of our bullpen? That's the big question. Right now, personally, I don't think we do. As far as, can I depend on these guys to carry us through Sunday? We have the arms. It's just a matter of, do we trust them? As of right now, probably not.
Look, me as a baseball fan, all I want to do is win tomorrow. I don't care about the rest of the tournament. At the same time, I also don't want the people who have to care about the rest of the tournament make stupid decisions to affect us in the rest of the tournament. That's where I'm going to leave it at, Josh.
Well, I'm going to just tell you this. Tony Robichaux was a great postseason coach because he coached to win the tournament. He didn't coach to win today. We went to the College World Series because Tony Robichaux had the guts to pitch to win the tournament, not today. I'm just saying, you got to know how to move chess pieces, and we have not done a good job of that. We have been bailed out by our offense, which is absolutely insane considering how much we struggled in the middle part of the season. We are getting hot at the right time. I'm not saying we're getting hot. We are hot at the right time. We have, I would say, 40% of the guys who are stepping in the box right now are seeing it really well. And that's a great thing. And look, it's not going to get any easier for the back end of these bullpens that we're going to see for the rest of this tournament to pitch to this lineup. I love where we're sitting as far as that goes. It's just the pitching. And, it's easy to worry after you saw that. But in the end, we're moving on. So good job. Last thing I'll say, though, how about Colt Brown being an absolute warrior, playing through a hit by pitch, not broke thumb, but he injured his thumb on the slide yesterday on a stupid hit and run that Matt Deck called for absolutely no reason with the catcher running and nobody out and couldn't freaking throw strikes from the pitcher. But I digress. How big of a warrior is that kid? I mean, again, we're in like game 60 something, or what is it, 59 or 60, and this dude has caught 99.9% of our innings. He continues to be a team leader, getting clutch hits. I just can't say enough about Cole Brown. What a beast.
Yeah,
I agree,
we just
brother.
gotta-
Thanks for calling, Josh. I appreciate it, man. Hopefully we get Cox back up tomorrow night for the post game, so I don't have to sound shitty. But thanks for calling in, brother. Appreciate it.
All right, let's go get one tomorrow. See y'all later.
See ya. Tomorrow night, most likely we face Cade Smith of Texas State. He's been the Saturday starter for most of the season and did not go last night. Last time we played Texas State, he went 4.2 innings against us. Gave up 2 hits, no runs, struck out 7. Hit a batter, but again, he came in more of a closer role that weekend. So if we see Cade Smith tomorrow, we'll see what happens. I want to see. Let me go back to who Texas State pitched last night, because I thought I made sure that Cade Smith didn't pitch last night, but
Well, it was today. It was the game before ours.
excuse me. I keep saying last night, man.
They went. By the way,
I don't know
Georgia
what
State-
city I'm in.
Georgia State and Southern Miss right now. It's 2-2 top of the third. Georgia State has 2 men on with 1 out.
Oh wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, I need to.
They're going to make this a game. And look, Georgia State has 4 hits to Southern Miss's 1. Now, that can change. It's only the 3rd inning. But, man, after seeing what Georgia State did to ODU last night, that looks like another team that may be clicking at the right time.
Wish I could see that game, but apparently I can't. Let me get back one of the callers who just called in. I missed the call. I didn't answer it. But let's see if they answer here, and we'll get their thoughts on the game tonight. They're probably like, who the hell's calling from this number?
Your call has.
All right, so
Maybe not.
if you were trying to call me, call us back. We'd love to hear from you. But yeah, that's my expectation. He did not pitch last night. Kyle Freilich pitched last night. He went an inning and 2/3. Dylan Kerbo and Wade Cooper. So those guys, I think, would all be available except for Wade Cooper. So I don't think that they went too deep in their game earlier today. But it was a close one. It wasn't, slam Marcus at the conference tournament this year. So we'll see what they do tomorrow. I look forward to that game, and should be interesting, Jerry.
Yeah, and look, I mean, again, we owe them. We owe them. And if we're looking to win this thing, if we're looking to make a run for Sunday, I mean, what we've positioned ourselves in a way that has given us an opportunity to A, get revenge on a team that swept us, and B, still control our own destiny. And to Josh's point, I mean, we are kind of playing for seeding right now.
Yeah.
I don't, I know we talk about, well, if we beat Coastal today, we're automatically in, which I still think we're in. But again, I don't want to depend on winning just today and then going 0-2 the next 2 days or next 2 games. I want to win tomorrow, and I want to keep moving forward. So not only do we solidify it, but by the time Monday rolls around, we know we're in. It's just a matter of where are we going. And I think that first step is tomorrow against another team, a Texas State team who not only do we owe, but they're on the bubble as well. They're trying to play for an at-large bid as well. They're only like 5 or 6 spots behind us in the RPI. So they're going to be coming out, guns blazing, ready to go as well. So we need to be ready for them. But I want this game, man. I want this game more than I did today. I mean, as much as I want it today, I want this game after what happened this season. And we're playing them on a neutral field. No Cracker Jack Park.
Game is at 4 p.m. Central tomorrow night. We look forward to it. Lane, appreciate you for running things behind the scenes and in front of the scenes when you had a chance. Jerry, thank you. Sorry about all my tech issues. Hopefully that's worked out tomorrow. But until then, we yet again stole their chicken, so we'll go out with that. But for the boys, I'm Nicholas. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. We'll chat again tomorrow night. We'll do this again. This was a lot of fun. I enjoy doing these post games. Hope you do too. Until tomorrow night, hopefully after a Cajuns win, we'll talk to you. Go Cajuns.